Hello. How are y'all doing on this beautiful Wednesday? Listen, we have a good conversation. Hello. Thanks for joining. We have a really good conversation today. I want to know, have you ever been laid off with no backup plan? Listen, here's what I did and here's what I do differently. This is what this conversation is going to be about, okay? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Thanks so much for joining. Welcome back to another episode of Nick at Noon. My name is Nick Scott. I'm the founder and CEO of Her Income Edit. We're an online education platform designed to help women turn their existing skills into coaching, income, digital products, and online businesses so that they can earn more, depend less on traditional employment, and design a life on their terms. If you haven't already, I encourage you to go get your notebook and your pens or whatever it is that you take notes on. Pop open a notes app on your phone, on your tablet. Go get your juice, your water, your tea, your coffee, whatever it is that you're sipping on today. I want you to settle in. Settle in, gather around, because we are going to have a wonderful conversation today. Text the link to this video to your biz bestie. Drop it in the group chat. Drop it in your online communities on Facebook, on Reddit, on Threads, wherever it is that you hang out. Share this video with somebody. Each one, reach one, okay? Listen, before I get into today's topic, I want to do something just a little bit different. I want to hear from you, right? Typically, I start off with a question, but now I want to hear from you. And I want you to tell me in the comments right now, tell me, have you ever been laid off? Just drop a yes or no in the comments because I really want to see this, okay? Because if you have been laid off, I want you to know that what I'm about to share today was made especially for you. This conversation is especially for you because today we are talking about something that does not get enough airtime. It does not, and if it does get airtime, it's not being talked about in a very honest way. And what I want to talk about today is what it feels like to lose a job that you depended on when you have nothing waiting on the other side. We're talking about it today. We're going to be talking about the silence that comes after that meeting, after that Zoom call. We're going to be talking about the moment your stomach drops. We're going to be talking about that specific kind of fear that sits right here and it doesn't move. Okay? We are also going to be talking about what comes after that because there is life after a layoff. There is life after a layoff. And more importantly, there's a better strategy that you can put in place before a layoff ever even happens, okay? So let's get into this conversation. Hello. Thanks for joining. So I want to take you back to March 4th, 2026. I was on the treadmill. I was watching the traders. I was living my life, taking care of my physical body at 8:57 in the morning. And then my phone lit up with a meeting notification. It was a meeting with my then CEO and somebody in HR that I didn't even know worked at the company. And the meeting was starting in literally 3 minutes. And if you have ever been laid off, you know exactly what that notification feels like. It's not a calendar invite that you could ignore. Like, this was a 3-minute warning from two people. One person literally signed my paycheck. Literally. So what did I do? I did what you would do. I would do what anybody else would do. I rushed off the treadmill. I rushed to my office. I was still in my workout clothes. I sat down at this here desk in this here chair. And I already knew what it was, right? You always know what it is when something like that. So when I got on the Zoom call, it was professional. They told me that my role was being eliminated, and they told me that it wasn't a performance issue. They told me I was valued, and they told me that my last day was that day. I literally said, thank you. And then I closed my laptop. Closed my laptop. And I sat right here at this desk and I felt every single thing at once, y'all. But here's what I want to tell you about that moment. I personally wasn't starting from zero. And you're probably not starting from zero either, because I have a master's in business administration. I had spent years building results in corporate marketing. I had her income edit already in the works because I had been building her income edit on the nights and weekends alongside my full-time job since August of last year, since August of 2025. But the thing about it is I was building it in secret. And I wasn't doing it because I was ashamed of it. It was because I was afraid of how my job might perceive what I was doing. So I kept it quiet. I did keep showing up though. I kept delivering. Like, I started rolling out things. I started selling digital products. But when I got that calendar invite on March 4th, 2026, and I will always remember that date, and I call it my rebirth date, and that's why I will always remember it. So when I got that calendar invite on March 4th, you know what? Just saying that, it just made me think of March 4th. Wow. Okay. Anyway, like, I literally, it just hit me right in this moment. So when I got that calendar invite on March 4th, I had already been building in secret. And the thing that I was building in secret, that became the thing that I had to stand firmly on. And that is the part that I'm grateful for in all this. But here's what I wish I had done different. I didn't do everything perfectly. I wish I hadn't been so afraid to build it in the open. I wish I had started treating her income edit like the asset that it was. I wish I had started this thing earlier, louder, and with more of my full self in it, instead of rationing my energy between a job that literally eliminated me and a business that I was keeping small so no one would notice. So there are some things that I would have done differently, because what the layoff exposed for me, it wasn't that I was unprepared. What it exposed is that I had been preparing in a way that assumed my job and my business had to exist in tension. Like tension, intention, competing with each other. And it doesn't. Like, it doesn't, and it never does. That was a story, that was a narrative that I told myself to stay safe inside of a system that was never designed to keep me safe, y'all. And I really want to talk about this for a second. I want to lean in on this point because I know some of you are watching or listening right now, and maybe you're not laid off today, but you felt something when I said that. Because you know that if your job called you tomorrow and said, we're restructuring and your position has been eliminated, you wouldn't have a fully built backup plan ready either. You wouldn't have one either. And it's not because you're irresponsible or because you've never thought about it. It's because we, women, we were taught that a good job is the plan. In this society, in this culture, that's what we're taught, right? If you were taught that, give this video a thumbs up. And that's what I want to completely dismantle today, because your job was never meant to be your whole plan. It was always supposed to be part of a larger income architecture. And we just were never taught that part, right? Hello. Thanks for joining. So I touched on it a little bit a few seconds ago. I'm going to go a little bit deeper on it because I want to talk about what I would do differently. I would not have kept her income edit in the shadows while I had my 9-to-5. I wouldn't have done that. I would have built it full blown, wide open. It wouldn't have been reckless though. And it would not have been in a way that put my job at risk, but I would have done it with confidence. I would have treated this like the second asset that it was and has always meant to be, right? Because I had an exit strategy plan, right? But it blew up in my face. So I would have been much more open about this. I would have treated my skills like they were mine. I would not have treated my skills like they were on loan to my job. I would have treated it like it was mine. Because the women who are going to have the most options in the next 5 years, they're the ones who started building something with their name on it while their 9 to 5 is still paying their bills, while their 9 to 5 is the first investor in their business. They're not going to start doing this after they get the notification. They're not going to start doing this after they get the call or the meeting. They're going to start building their thing before, when they have cushion, when you have the runway, when you could build from possibility instead of pressure. Because when you build something under pressure, when you start to make decisions from a place of scarcity, you're going to price too low because you're going to need money like this. You're going to take on clients who are not a good fit for you because you can't afford to say no. You will rush into things that deserve for you to take time in them. But when you start to create something and build something for yourself before the crisis, it's not hustle culture. It is financial intelligence. It is income intelligence, okay? And that understanding, that right there, that is the most powerful time to build a second stream of income or your next stream of income. It is not when you desperately need it. That is not the best time to do it. And that understanding right there, that is something that I want you to take away from this conversation. That's one thing that I want you to take away from this conversation, okay? Now, I want to take a step back for a second and slow down for a second, because I want you to understand that what happened to me, it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't just bad luck or the economy. There is a structural shift that's happening in the professional landscape that does not get enough airtime, and it does not get talked about transparently enough. Let's be clear. Corporate environments are contracting in ways that affect professional women in a disproportionate way. The flexibility that made demanding careers manageable, y'all remember all the remote work and hybrid work? A lot of companies are pulling that back. The diversity commitments that opened doors in previous years, a lot of organizations are walking those back too. And the senior advancement pathways that you've been working your whole career toward, those pathways are getting more and more narrow. And let's talk about it. The pay disparities, you know, the ones that we're not supposed to be talking about, the pay disparities between men and women and black women and black men, and the pay disparities, they're not disappearing. They're just getting more quiet. So now you have a generation of mid-career professional women. I'm talking about women with 15, 20 years of credibility and institutional knowledge. You have these women sitting inside of organizations that have never been more fragile and have never been less accountable to the people who built them. We talking about it. We are talking about it. Listen, most of those women that I just described, they are riding on just one stream of income. They are riding on one stream of income that's connected to their one employer, that's connected to one set of decisions, that's connected to decisions that are made by people who don't even know your name. Fortunately for me, my CEO knew my name, but here's the thing. That is not safety, y'all. It is exposure. And I really want to be gentle here because I'm not trying to scare you. This is not fear-mongering or anti-corporate content. I just want to have an honest conversation with you in a way that most of the internet isn't having this conversation. Because here's the thing. Safety doesn't come from job stability. It comes from income diversification. And those are two completely and fundamentally different things. Because job stability, it means that someone else is choosing you. They're choosing to keep you. right? Like you're leaving the power in somebody else's hands. Whereas income diversification, it means that you have multiple streams of revenue that exist independently of whether or not this person chooses to keep you. And one of those things are inside your control, and one of them isn't. And the only one that's inside your control is the one that most women haven't even started to build yet. And I want to address something else while I'm talking about it, because I know what some of you might be thinking right now. You might be thinking, Nick, I'm not an entrepreneur. I don't have a business idea. I don't have the time. Like, where am I going to find the time for this? I wouldn't even know where to start. I know that's what some of you are thinking, but I want you to stay with me, because that thinking right there, that whole I'm not the type narrative, that's what I want to challenge in this next part of the conversation, okay? Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining. And I want to ask you something. I want you to think about the work that you do right now, or the work that you've done over the course of your career or your life. What do people come to you for? What are your colleagues asking you to explain? What do newer people in your field ask you to walk them through? I want you to think about the thing that when you step into a room, people already assume that you know it. Because that thing, whatever it is that just popped into your head, that is your coaching offer that's waiting to exist. Let me say this just a little bit more plain for you. What you already know is what somebody else is searching for right now. Not a version of it after you take another course or you cleaned it up and got certified or more official. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for what you know today as you are, right now. An architectural designer who understands how clients make emotional decisions about space, that is a coaching offer for other designers who are starting out. A supply chain analyst who's navigated international logistics during market disruptions, that's a coaching offer for companies or consultants trying to build more resilient sourcing, y'all. A sports media producer who knows how to build a broadcast from concept to air, that is a coaching offer for emerging markets and independent sports networks. Listen, your skills are already there. What's missing is just a different way to look at your skills. Your professional experience is an asset, y'all. It's not a credential, it's an asset. And there's a difference, because a credential is something that you earn and then you have to defend it, right? But an asset is something that generates returns for you. So your 20 years of showing up, solving problems, leading through uncertainty, and delivering those results that you've delivered, that is an appreciating asset. Listen, we got to start to unlearn some things and learn some things in this. Your job has been accessing your appreciating asset for a salary. And that salary, your salary, it doesn't matter how much money you make right now. Your salary is not the ceiling on what your skills are worth. It is not the ceiling. Y'all, are y'all hearing what I'm saying here? Your salary is just the price that your company, your job is willing to pay to access for it. And coaching, it allows you to set a different price. And more importantly, it lets you decide who gets to access your skills. Now, I know the word coaching might feel like something that belongs to a specific kind of person, right? Maybe you're picturing someone with a ring light and a big following and a very photogenic morning routine. Did that pop into your mind? Because if it did, that's not what I'm talking about. Coaching, in the model that I teach, in the model that generates real sustainable income in this, coaching is simply this. You're going to take what you know, you're going to structure it in a way that helps someone move from where they are to where they want to be, and you're going to charge for that transformation. That is what I'm talking about. And you don't need a big social media audience for this. You don't need a certification to do this, and you don't need to quit your job either. What you need are skills, which you already have, and you need a framework for packaging and positioning those skills. And that's what separates the women who build this successfully from the ones who stay stuck at the part of, you know what? I should probably do something else. It's the framework that's the differentiator. It's not talent, it's the framework, okay? Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining. I see the love on YouTube. So I want to talk about what I have observed about the women who build coaching income, who successfully build coaching income, and what separates those women from the ones who don't. And I want to be very clear here. I am not about to give you the full playbook today because that's what Ignite is designed to do, but we'll talk more about that later, okay? But what I do want you to understand, I want you to understand this at a strategic level. And that is the women who succeed in this, they don't start with an offer. They don't start with the thing that they're going to sell. They start with a problem. Okay? So they don't start with, here's what I know how to do. They start with, here's what someone is currently struggling with that I can help them solve. So I want you to just change your lens a little bit when you look at this from your skill first. So lead with your problem first instead of your skill first. Does that make sense? Because that's going to change everything about how you position yourself, how you price yourself, how you find your clients, and how confident you feel when you're walking into your first client conversation or your first sales call. So that's the first thing. The second thing that separates these two women is the one who's doing this, the one who has something, they're not doing it in isolation. And that right there is one of the most common patterns that I see. And that is someone deciding to start a coaching business and then they disappear into research mode for 6 months. They're building out a website, they're designing a logo, they're overthinking their name, they're overthinking their niche, and they're never out there talking to potential clients. And the women who move the fastest, they do this inside of a container. They do it with accountability. They have feedback. They have a framework that they're not inventing on their own. They're not out here improvising. Because here's what I know about women specifically. You are not low on intelligence. You are not low on capability. What slows you down oftentimes is attempting to do the thing in isolation when this is something that is designed to be done with structure and support. So that's the second thing. The third thing that separates these women is they don't wait until they're ready. They get ready by doing, because the genius is in the doing. And I mean that in a very specific way, not in a just wing it type of way, not in a reckless type of way. But listen, readiness, it comes from doing the work, not from more preparation before the work. Because there's a version of you that feels ready enough to launch something. And then there's a version of you that is never quite there because the finish line for ready, or I guess in this case, the starting line for ready, it keeps moving, right? Because ready is a feeling. So the framework that makes you ready the fastest, a framework, I said that wrong. A framework is what's going to make you ready faster than research will. So I want to talk about something else that I feel like is under addressed in this conversation around coaching and income. And that is what this gives you beyond the money. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining. What does coaching give you beyond the money? Let's be clear. The money matters. The money is real. And I'm not going to dismiss it and I'm not going to minimize it. But if your goal is just money, all you have to do is pick up an extra contract in your field, right? Just pick up contract work in your field. You can consult. You could even freelance, right? So coaching isn't just a revenue stream. It's an identity shift. It is the difference between being valuable inside a system and being valuable on your own terms. Coaching, listen to me when I say this, Coaching is the difference between building income that requires your physical presence at a desk in a specific city for a specific company, and building income that literally moves with you, that scales with you, and it doesn't disappear if someone in a corner office decides to restructure. I'm not talking about a side hustle. We are not every day I'm hustling. We don't do that. We are not grinding all our lives over here. Okay? So I'm not talking about a side hustle. I'm talking about an asset. And the women who are building their coaching businesses right now, while their 9 to 5 is still paying their bills, while their 9 to 5 is being the investor in their business, those women are going to have options that the ones who waited simply just won't have. They just don't have it. They don't have it, y'all. How are y'all doing? Happy Wednesday. So now I want to tell you about something. If anything that I'm sharing in this video is making you think, you know what? I know I need to build something. I just have no idea where to start in this. Then what I'm about to say is especially for you. Applications for Ignite are open right now. Ignite is my 12-week group coaching program, and the next cohort kicks off on September 14th. And I want to tell you exactly what Ignite is, okay? It is not a course that you're going to sit and watch videos. It is not a community where you post and hope someone answers. Ignite is a structured 12-week experience where you will build your coaching business with a framework, with feedback and accountability. So inside Ignite, you're going to go from, I think I could do something like this, and you're going to leave Ignite with a positioned offer, knowing exactly who you serve. You will leave understanding how to find these people, and you will leave having made your first move toward revenue, toward diversifying your income. And you do this alongside your 9 to 5. So you don't have to quit your job. This is not about betting everything on a business that you haven't built yet. This is about building something real, and that's yours, while you have the stability of your current income, and it's funding this process. You feel me what I'm saying? That is the Ignite model. I want you to build smart. I want you to build strategically, and I want you to build before you need it. Okay? So the cohorts in Ignite are small. So you're not going to be joining a program with hundreds of women in there. And I keep it that way on purpose because the depth of what we do, it requires access to me personally, and it requires access to each other. So spots are limited, and we kick off on September 14th. So if you want to know if Ignite is right for you, the first step is to apply. The application takes about 5 minutes, and the application, it tells me where you are, what you're working with, and what you're trying to build. And if your application looks like a strong fit, we will get on a call together, okay? And we'll talk more about it. So you can learn about more. You can learn more about Ignite on my website at herincomeedit.com/ignite, or you can click the link down in the description. And I will also pin the link to Ignite down in the comments so you can find it very easily. And if you're watching this on replay, again, the link is in the description. It'll be pinned in the comments. You can go to my website at herincomeedit.com/ignite. And also, to even make it easier for you, if you want me to just drop the link directly to your comment, just type the word Ignite and I will make sure that you get the link directly, so you don't have to go searching for it and, typing things in your search bar. All you have to do is just click the link that I give you, okay? So I want to say one more thing about all of this before I close. And that is, one of the most common things that I hear from women who go through Ignite is, I wish I had done this sooner. I have never had a client who told me, you know what, Nick, I should have just waited another month before I signed up. That has never happened. Like, I wish I would have started sooner. I wish I have started sooner. One of my clients told me last week, gosh, I wish I would have started this back in March when I first started talking to you about this. Nobody ever says, I wish I would have waited another month. Nobody ever says that. They all say, I wish I had started this sooner. And it's not because they weren't ready. And it wasn't because the timing was perfect. It's because once you have a framework, the thing that you've been making so complicated, it gets real simple real fast, y'all. And the part that's been stopping you, the part about, I don't know how to start, that piece, that turns out to not even be a talent problem. It's a structure problem. And Ignite is the structure. It is the structure. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining. So I started this conversation with a question, didn't I? And that question was, have you ever been laid off with no backup plan? And whether your answer was yes or no, or not yet, here's what I want you to understand. The version of you that builds a second stream of income before you need it, and the version of you that starts scrambling after that rug is pulled from underneath you, those two women have the same skills. Did you hear what I said? Those two women have the same skills. So whether you have your second income stream in motion before the layoff happens, or you wait until the layoff happens to start building your second stream of income, you have the same skills regardless. The only difference in that is the timing. It's the timing. Here, your job is not your career, y'all. Your job is the place where your career is currently housed. And right now, that's someone else's building. It's not your building. You don't own it. If you don't own it, it's time to start building something that you own with your name on it. And I'm not saying this because your job is bad, right? I don't want you to quit your job. This, like I said earlier, this is not anti-corporate content. This is pro-options content. You don't need to walk away from your job ever if you don't want to. But the thing about it is, the women who are going to have the most options in 5 years, they're going to be the ones who started building their second asset while the first asset is still paying you well. You don't have to start big. You don't have to start loud. You just have to start. You just have to start. Because the backup plan that you haven't built yet, that is the reason that your layoff is going to feel so terrifying. Your skills already exist, y'all. Something to offer, something to sell, that is the only thing missing. That's the only thing missing. Okay? Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining. I see the love on YouTube. So, I want to take the time to thank each and every one of you for popping in and out of this conversation today. I always say it and I mean it. Your presence is not taken for granted. I see it. I feel it. I appreciate it. Thanks so much for even if it was just for 2 or 3 minutes. Thanks for spending your time with me today. If you are new, or even if you're not, if you have not already, I want you to hit the subscribe button so you never miss a beat, because we do this all the time. All the time. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I am here live at noon Mountain Time. If you have been here for a while, I want you to share, or even if you're new, share this video with a friend or with someone who needs to hear this. Applications for Ignite are open right now. The link is in the description. It is pinned in the comments. You can type Ignite down below and I'll make sure you get the link. You can head over to my website at herincomeedit.com/ignite. Cohort kicks off on September 14th. Spots are limited and you already know what you need to do. You already know what you need to do. All right. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.